there, and welcome to the Reflection Show with me, Martha Ntwise. We want to look at what the Vice President win means for Ghanaian women. It's the first time in Ghana that we have the first female vice president. She's been the first in so many things, and we believe that she being the first female vice president will inspire so many of us to unearth our potential to be probably better than her, as I have seen or have heard her say, to encourage and empower more Ghanaian women. I'll be speaking with two women who are into the advocacy space, and encouraging and also mentoring young women to be better, to see even for us and our mentees what this means for us and also everybody in Ghana, especially our men. Thank you for supporting us and then encouraging us to have our first female vice president. Let's take a break. When we are back, we delve into more. I am Martha Ntwise. Growing up, it was so difficult finding answers to all the questions that bothered my young mind. As soon as I found my purpose and understood my mandate, I made it a mission to answer as many questions as possible, bothering young people. I have mentored, inspired, and helped young people unearth their potentials through the Martha Ntwise Foundation. However, I feel it is time to bring the conversation much closer to you. We have you in mind, you the young person. With my team of experts, we bring to you the Reflection Show, a show that focuses on addressing issues young people face, helping them to unearth their potentials, and giving them nothing but the best avenues in helping them solve issues that they may face in their young age. Join me, Martha Ntwise, every Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Truth TV, the Reflection Show, restoring hopes.
Okay, so for me, I feel personally what it means to have a female vice president, it feels like it screams progress. We are talking about so many years down the line from women not being able to vote, not being able to own land, and now we have a say in almost everything concerning the development process. And how we started in the development, we started with gender equality. And that one was just talking about equality just for the sake, oh, we are women. But now we are transitioning to gender equity according to the person's capability, what the person qualifies to do, and how it will build up from there. So for me, it's like my daughter was looking at me and she was like, yes, mommy, finally. I'm like, yes. Now you can go to school and let them know that my vice president is a female. She's like me. She has my type of hair. She looks like me. That alone inspires a lot of young girls, including myself, that the future is much brighter.
Yeah, the future is much brighter. Now, let's look at the things. What are your expectations from her or from the government?
Okay, so first of all, in terms of the policies, I know that oftentimes, I mean, let me try to not do what someone was trying to do.
Okay. If I
try not to do what someone was trying to
do.
Try not to do, yeah. But I think it's important that in her role now should, just like for some time now, women have been allowed to be able to participate in the most important aspects of government or leadership, especially when it comes to the policies, and also being allowed to spearhead major projects that do not only benefit women, but, like men generally. I think then would now know that, yes, we were excited about this good news, but now we are actually getting what we want or what we are looking out for. So that's just a single expectation that I have, especially for this administration, this government, and also for the very first time us having a woman as a vice president. Yeah.
Okay. What are your expectations?
For me, I think my expectations are very simple. I want to see her hand in what is happening. Okay. I want to feel her presence in what is happening. I want to see that when they are bringing out a policy, at least some particular voices should be heard, regardless of either male or female. But that influence should be there. That old story of driver and mates and what, we want it to end this year. I want to be able to see her that, oh, she's talking, he's also talking, he's working, and she's also working. That's my expectation.
Okay, now, do we feel that we are going to just go, because I have seen the appointments even in her office, at the president's office, leading organizations and even ministerial appointments. And I love the way women are being represented.
Yeah.
And not just any woman.
Of course.
The
like
kind of women that are
Mm-hmm.
being put in there
Mm-hmm.
are women that you are like, okay, it's good she is there.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing anybody saying that this woman doesn't deserve it to be there.
Yes,
I've not
yes.
heard that yet. I've not
Yeah.
heard that yet.
Yeah.
Beyond the vice president, do you think that it is making more women, even that have to work with her directly, being, you know, capable or being intentional, that's what I'm looking for, about supporting her to make it possible?
Yes, I think in previous governments, let me put it that way, women were gradually taking up some of these positions that in terms of like the percentages or the disparity when it comes to men and women taking up these leadership roles, and so we're gradually filling up these positions. But for the past how many days or weeks now, with the appointments that are coming out, I have actually personally noticed a higher, some sort of like increment with regards to the representation when it comes to men and women. And I like to believe it's also partly due to the fact that for the very highest of positions, we have a woman also occupying that part of it. I believe that is actually, to some extent, influencing the outcome of the appointments. Yeah.
Kenny?
Yes. I think now a lot of the women who are capable, they are qualified, can now say, you know what, let me write her a letter. Let me reach out to her. Madam Jane, this is what I have studied. This is what I'm capable of. Give me the opportunity. I know she might not be the one to say, oh, like go ahead and okay, we are giving it to you. But the fact that there's a representative there already, all she needs to do is just table it. Oh, maybe we can even consider Martha. Maybe we can consider Futina. Maybe we can consider this. We can consider this person. Immediately they hear that, they're like, considering she's the first, nobody wants to mess up because everybody is watching. We are targeting, we are looking, we are calculating. So every single step that they are making is intentional.
Yeah.
So as you said, nobody has said anything bad because so far they backed it up with proof, they backed it up with evidence, and they backed it up with qualification.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the kind of support we should support her with. We look at, okay, let's support the vice president, let's support all that. And you see that sometimes, let's even begin from our offices. We have women leaders, women CEOs, and you usually see that there's a lot of fidgeting in the offices because they are insulting her wig, they are insulting her shoe, they are insulting her what. But we still say women empowerment. But this is a bigger perspective. What kind of support do you think that not just those who are directly working with her, but even all of us as women, what kind of support do you think we can support her with?
You know, when you started and you spoke about the dressing and all that, you noticed the smile on my face, and it's because I happen to have found myself in some sort of mild argument with a colleague over this kind of conversation. I feel like there are much more important things, much more important. I'm not saying it isn't important. I'm not saying appearance isn't important, but I feel like there are much more important things that we can actually channel our energies to when it comes to our expectations of our first female vice president. Do you understand? As long as there's some, so let me just touch a little bit on the appearance bit, because I've seen that even on social media, so many people are talking about, her shoes, her hair, her what have you, right? I feel like, again, that as long as the person still is decent, appears decent, the focus shouldn't be on how outdated or how modern whatever she's wearing is. What are your expectations in terms of her leadership? What do you want her to bring to the table? What is one thing that if you get the opportunity to meet Prof today, as a young woman coming up, what's the one thing you would want her to advocate that would benefit you or even your daughters in future? That should be what we should be focusing on, and I think that is one thing we really need to work better on as Ghanaians. And it's sad because unfortunately, even women join in these conversations, saying these kind of things. Personally, when it comes to these things, I'm all about what the person is bringing to the table. And
she's not as young as us.
Exactly.
How many of us, our mothers in the houses, would wake up to want to buy the latest wig in town?
Exactly.
If she does that, we are those who come in, she's using Ghana money to be dressing.
you know, Loki looks like it's also a trap. Let her do it and then we'll
Yes,
talk. But
yes.
that shouldn't even be what we should be worried about. What is she coming to do for us? Okay, so yes, we've seen her track record. They said she does this, she does that, she used to do this, she used to do that. And now she's here. Now she's occupying one of the highest positions that we can look at when it comes to our government or even leadership, Ghana's leadership generally. What would we want her to do for us as women? I think we should continue with that conversation and let's just put a pause, like a major pause on what kind of, you know, clothing and what have you. And I think at the end of the day, we would really achieve much more, like a lot more compared to what these conversations could lead to.
And I feel that, you know, she's over a 70-year-old woman. She just wants to give back to her country.
Right.
She's not looking at attracting any man. She's not looking at what we think about how she looks. Or she's a very beautiful. Look, how many 70-year-olds in Ghana today
Look like her.
look like, you know, her energy?
Yes. And if I get an opportunity to come even close to a person like that, I'll be much more excited about what can I benefit from her.
Yeah, like
Compared to, oh, how does she look? Look at the dress she's wearing. I wish to wear such a. I think at this stage there are priorities. There should be priorities that we should think about or even look out for. And maybe, you know, with a platform like yours and the fact that we're even touching on this area, people will become much more aware of what conversations we should give priorities to when it comes to leadership and even when it comes to women in, you know, such higher positions.
Kenny?
Yeah, so I just wanted to like add on to what she was talking about, the appearance and the dressing. I feel like in this our time, Ghanaians don't want to focus on what is actually important. We like the funny parts because funny news trends. We want the bad parts. We want the bad news so that when we are talking about it, it's trending. And then you see people will keep retweeting it and they're pointing it. And I'm like, at some point, I began to feel it's an African thing because Nigerians do it too. We tend to focus on
our neighbors.
They tend to focus on the person's, straight up, they're looking at the person's shoe. They're not looking at what the person, and I'm like, do you people realize that we still have taxes on pad? And pad is still considered a luxury.
And this is
We're
a
not talking about
issue.
how you are happy and under her comment section you are saying, oh, madam, please remember this policy, push it for them. Madam, oh, there is a village somewhere that they don't even have access to water. Let's talk about that. And they are so focused on dressing. I'm like, no, we need to do better. This is 2025.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because for most parts of the time, people get caught up in the political part of it, that they forget that in the long run, the repercussions affect all of us. You know, they feel like, okay, so it's from this political party. So still with that party, you know, look, let me just criticize anything that I can criticize. But they forget that, okay, so this is a woman who is now representing all of us and would actually contribute to greater things that will benefit all of us. So how about we put our voices together and support her? So I think for most parts, the politics bit, but now we've gotten to that part where let's just hold on with the politics. Also, whether you like it or not, a new government has taken over, new leadership is here.
You know,
let's see what they are bringing to the table.
When they were sworn in, or during the campaign season, or even after the swearing in and all that, there were some women advocates I somehow were disappointed in, because some of these comments about how the vice president looked, I was greatly disappointed. With some of the women advocates, we feel that we are all advocating for inclusion. So I'm adding up to what you mentioned about the political bit. People were in other political parties, but over the years, we have spoken about women in leadership. So I'm like, okay, you know, I was privileged to be part of a workshop where I asked a question that, is it women we actually want during the campaign? Is it women we actually want to lead? Or we want a woman in our political party? Everybody was quiet. I said, that's just my question, because all the noise and, you know, there were a lot of other political parties that will come and talk. And I asked them, we are here saying that let's push women representatives. But we have one woman who will be in one of the, if not like the highest, you know, level for us in government. And you see women advocates posting, you know, some funny things. Some feel they are joking, but I wouldn't joke about something like that.
Of course.
When the president said he was working with only 60 ministers and the first 3 came out, some people were like, ha ha ha, 57 more, let's see. Then some will come and say, you know, women are not. I'm like, but you were not already supporting this government in the first place. So it's like you are not like a monitoring spirit trying to monitor, and you are not even putting on social media saying that, Mr. President, you promised women. And I'm like, seriously? So I don't know how. Is there something we can tell our viewers on how we can streamline our expectations to our current government? If I sit here and say, everybody knows Martha Inspires Foundation, everybody knows me, Martha Inspires, and I'm out there advocating for women, what can I do? Let me, if I am me, I told I'm a Ghana Freedom Party, and my flag bearer passed on, Madam Ekia Doko passed on. So beyond being in Ghana Freedom Party, now I have a vice president in a different political party. How can I put my political affiliations aside and support this woman that I was even saying I want more women to be in? And I see that even in her team, they are 60% women. I'm not seeing most of Ghanaian women clapping, like, you know, those who are not political are clapping for that. It's just a few of us. What can we do? Let me start with Kenny on this. To support our vice president or women in leadership.
I think the first thing we should do is stop the blame game. As we have said already, put the politics aside and focus on what the person can do.
Right.
It is that simple. Let's focus on what the person can do. One of the ways we can try is to actually think about what you want to say before we say it. There's this joke that goes around that the internet has come and given every Tom, Dick, and Harry their freedom of speech. Which, to an extent, is kind of true, because now anybody can just wake up, and because you don't like the political party, you don't like the colors, you're not even concerned about what the person can do. You are just saying anything and everything, forgetting that before you come online and before you start taking facts, you need to do your research. You need to find out what exactly is happening. You need to know where it is coming from before you can say something about it. So one of the things we can do is to make sure that even we as female advocates, whatever information we're putting out there can be checked. Not just only checked, it can be verified. So that when I'm tagging her to a post I am making, she will see it and be like, yes. She doesn't even have to comment. Just the fact that she has seen it alone goes a long way. And I think it also boils down to also that, just that simple word of women supporting women. In as much as we have a lot of barriers that we keep talking about, but I feel like even with these barriers, we've done a lot. We've achieved a lot. So why won't we just step up and do the job? It's just a simple share, a copy and paste, a word here, a word there. Just encourage, support, be there. Yes. When we are there, something will happen.
Oh, yes. Something will definitely happen. I think she's taking the wind out of my sails. So I'll just say that I think, as like you mentioned, in our offices as young, leaders who mentor young women and all that, what we can continue to do is to let young women coming up understand what things they can prioritize. We need to let them understand that as you grow and then fill up some spaces and even find yourself in certain environments, there are certain things that are much more important than certain things. Because unfortunately, our women nowadays find almost, for lack of a better word, anything a role model. Do you get it? They do not really look at it from, okay, so what's that positive thing that I can pick from this person? It's just a matter of you dressing fashionably in a way they've always wanted to dress, and they already see you as a role model. It's sad, you know. Again, dressing is beautiful, but again, like I said, we need to let them understand there are much more important things that they can prioritize, they can learn to occupy their times with, see how they can also continue to become leaders who would contribute towards their community's growth and all that. And then with that, I believe we'll be inadvertently supporting those in leadership, because it starts from the grassroots, it starts from our communities, our workplaces, you know. So yeah, I think this is something we can do.
And when I look at it, I feel like she can easily get the way we want her to dress. Like in a day, she can say, okay, I want a stylist. She easily gets it and adds it. But I cannot easily get up one day and get her knowledge.
Of course.
And get her qualification. And get who she thinks she is. So why do we focus on the minor things? If the vice president should make up a post and says that I am looking for a stylist, contact me on this number. you can imagine how many people are going to apply.
Of course. Of course.
But you and I cannot sit there and say, I want a
PhD.
a
I want to become a PhD holder.
even in one year and get it.
Of
Yeah.
course.
So
Of
let's
course.
she has so much we can learn from.
Mhm.
That she even has the money to get it. If
Yeah.
you and I want a stylist now, we may have to probably check our budget over and over again before we can get that.
Right.
So we should look at the most important things
Yeah.
and not just look at, dresses are what. It's because of the way people we call celebrities have made life to be. It looks
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
when
If
I
you are
wear
not
this
snatched.
dress and I don't wear it tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm not a celebrity.
Mhm.
And sometimes people are even criticized for repeating dresses.
Yeah.
Me, unless the dress is old, I'm wearing my thing because
I'll
I
wear
bought
my
that
thing,
money.
oh.
So we need to
course.
encourage young girls to know that
course.
there is no pride in discarding clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There
I
is
want-
pride in keeping. That is why we want everything what's the name? Disposable.
Yeah.
So maybe disposable plates, disposable spoon, disposable what. We have living the season of learning how to keep.
Yeah.
We're rather disposing.
Yeah. Ken, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to add that now, even in the mentorship space, there's one thing I've noticed that we've started changing now. We're now placing emphasis not just on leadership, entrepreneurship, we're now basing emphasis on general lifestyle development. Just know what you are as a human being.
Yeah.
Don't walk up and down and be doing things that will later come and bite you in the present. So recently, that's one of the courses I'm actually working on with a few of my mentees. General life, what does it mean? How do you present yourself in person? Not just your clothes, the way you even speak, your manner, your character. You hear the way sometimes I'll be like, have you heard the way the vice president speaks?
Yeah.
Like it feels
Yeah.
so good that I can now use somebody of my own species
Yeah.
for an example. You're like, that is your benchmark. I don't want to see anything less than that. When you are trying to achieve something, you shouldn't just go for subpar. No,
Yeah.
go for perfect. That
Of
way,
course.
even if you go down, you're not going to go too down.
Yeah.
Yes, you will learn your mistakes on the way.
Yeah.
But now it's like nobody is teaching them what to do. Everybody is doing everything anyhow.
And we are doing a lot of copying. I was correcting some young people when they were like, I want to be the first female, this first. I was like, well, let's leave that narrative. I want to be this. For the fact that you are the second and third, and what doesn't change anything from
Of
being
course.
the first.
it
Of
doesn't.
course.
So even being able to get there, it's something that you should appreciate.
Yeah.
And some people would work a lot of, they'll do a lot of things just because they want to be the first something. Maybe you are not ordained or destined to be the first something. Somebody needs to go and lay the foundation for you.
Of course. You just end up putting pressure on yourself.
Exactly.
Buy
Oh, God.
wahala for yourself.
I told someone that I thank God I am born in this generation. I'm looking at our mothers those times. If I was born at that time, I wouldn't have been able to know who I am.
Yeah.
Because I would have just been a 12-year-old girl given to some 59-year-old man to be
they've
the
set
wife.
your destiny
And
for
my
you.
life would just be between get up, cook for your husband, see him in the bedroom, go to the farm, and that is all.
Yeah.
But other women came in and fought for us.
Yeah.
I don't think we women now would have had that energy, the audacity to fight them.
Yeah.
Other women have had, look, there is this woman that my mom always talks about, Hawa Yakubu. And she believed that if Hawa Yakubu was there, should have probably been a president or vice president like in those years. They kind of had role models. And Hawa Yakubu was one of the women that a lot of women admired. We have Hannah Tete, we have Gifty Auntie, and we see the things these women had to endure. For example, rumors. Are things that is me. I hear one rumor about me, I'll cry at. But these women are able to teach us that if you do not get rumors about us, you can't get there. And since they're able to get those rumors and overcome it and get there, it means all of us can also do it.
Yeah.
Now let's look at Northern region. I want us to move the second half of the conversation to Northern region. But let's take a break. When we come back, let's look at the Northern region, the Northern zone. What more can we do? We've looked at the vice president and stuff.
Yeah.
What can we do to support ourselves in this advocacy and mentorship field? Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Growing up, it was so difficult finding answers to all the questions that bothered my young mind. As soon as I found my purpose and understood my mandate, I made it a mission to answer as many questions as possible bothering young people. I have mentored, inspired, and helped young people unearth their potentials through the Martha Inspires Foundation. However, I feel it is time to bring the conversation much closer to you. We have you in mind, you the young person. With my team of experts, we bring to you the Reflection Show, a show that focuses on addressing issues young people face, helping them to unearth their potentials, and giving them nothing but the best avenues in helping them solve issues that they may face in their young age. Join me, Martha Inspires, every Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Truth TV, the Reflection Show, restoring hopes.
Welcome back from the break. We are still looking at what the Vice President's win means for Ghanaian women and how we can all support her and how we can encourage other young people to look up to her as someone that they can be, or who they can be, or even be more and bigger and greater than her. Let me start with Kenny on this. Northern region, what are we already doing when it comes to youth empowerment?
Okay, so
Women empowerment.
Women empowerment. One of the best things I think so far we've been able to do is when it comes to the agricultural part, we've been doing a lot of, they've been giving a lot of grants and funds for women farmers. So there's priority for women who are doing agriculture. Women are into farm to table processing. So anybody doing end products, they're getting a lot of funding. And then even the women themselves, we're now placing more emphasis on our issues of sexual gender-based violence, issues of workplace sexual harassment, even training, sensitization, even gender-sensitive trainings have been now conducted throughout last year. It has been amazing because we've seen that the women are doing a lot. There's a lot of pressure on them. But how do we take us, like how do we cope with it? So even down to Tolek GH, where they're doing a lot of mental health advocacy, where they're even encouraging a lot of the women leaders that if you know you have a problem, come and talk to us. We will give you that counseling service, you and your workers, you and your employees.
Yeah.
Like there has been a lot of emphasis when it comes to women empowerment, when it comes to the North.
Okay.
But there's still a lot
To
yes, there's so many yes, even the mentorship space. I mean, almost all of us here sitting out here are mentors. And I feel like it's been a bit saturated because I still want to see that average woman who is doing amazing things, but nobody knows. That untold story, that person that, oh, she might not be as out there as we are, but she has the capability to impact a lot of young girls.
Yeah.
Just from the small things that she does, how she balances work, life, home with entrepreneurship, they're there.
Yeah.
But it's not unfortunate, most of them are not as outspoken as we are. So I think it's one of the areas we could work on. Identifying those people that we know that when we add this person to the space, they will be part of the discussion and we can shed more light on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can we, do more?
Yeah, I think one thing we can look at is to continue to collaborate amongst ourselves as young people. For instance, as leaders, women leaders who are occupying these development spaces, for instance, Martha Inspires Foundation and maybe another organization that is still new in the northern region like FUSAID Global can come together to work on a project that would impact a lot more number of people. And I think we can also continue to improve on our social media appearances when it comes to the projects that we do.
Yeah.
We continue to I realized that what some organizations do is to continue to project the sad parts of our stories, like the sad communities and how, but then there are also positive things happening. There are women doing amazing things. I've heard of some really amazing women doing greater things here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've heard of Cow Tribe, the lady. I'm yet to meet her.
Alima.
Yeah.
Yes, but I've heard of some of the amazing things that she's doing. And I'm like, all of these people, I had to learn about them moving here. Down south, I didn't get to hear much about some of these women. So maybe we can try to in our own ways, project the success stories of what our colleagues are doing or what we ourselves are doing to empower our communities. And I think if we adapt this approach, we would go far. If we're going far, we'll go farther. So I think this is something that we can do to improve upon what we're already doing as women leaders and, you know, advocates and community developers.
Do you feel women find it difficult to collaborate?
I see what you're doing. I see. I totally get it. I think it's just not, I'm not going to restrict it to just women. I think generally, sometimes there are people afraid of competition. People feel then there's supposed to be competition. So even when you come together to want to collaborate on something, there's already that friction in there as to whether who will do it better or who should take the limelight, who should be the lead and all that. And so again, not restricting it to just women, but generally, I think this is something we need to look at. Let's focus more on the results. What are we trying to achieve? Who are the beneficiaries? What the projects we're trying to work on together? Who are they like who are the people going to benefit from it? And then when we look at that as the ultimate goal, we'll put aside whatever differences or whatever disagreements that we think we have, whatever competitions that we want to create amongst ourselves. We'll learn to put that aside and just get the results done. So it's not just women.
Do you
it cuts
think
across.
do you think we are afraid to collaborate?
No, I think it's more of that sense of that inherent. I don't want to. It's not biology. I would say it's not biology. That inherent need to be on top. I want to fight it with you. The competition. Oh, we cannot be on the same platform. Somebody has to be lower than the other. It hasn't gotten us anywhere. We've actually taken 5 years step back because everybody is doing my own. And that is one thing I've been pushing for. I support everybody. As long as I see what you are doing has an impact, it will benefit every single person around me, and even those not even around me self. I'll be the first person to copy and paste. If there
So I feel that there are times that women are actually afraid to collaborate. Because, you see, I am a great advocate for women are their own helpers. People, if you follow me on social media, it's something I keep posting. Women are their own helpers. Women are their own helpers. Because not that I didn't know this before, I really wanted to take away that feeling of collaboration. There are times that I have reached out to certain people, and you see, people need to understand that we don't have the same strength.
True. And even energies.
We don't have the same energies. Because there are some people that will just want to be, you know, lay back. But what I feel has been the reason for women not to collaborate is negative third voices. Not even, like you said, not just women or male, but when it comes to people unearthing their potentials and collaboration, most times it's negative third voices. Maybe somebody knows you, somebody knows me, somebody knows me on a different level, a different platform, and the same thing as you. And they hear that First Aid and Martha is collaborating, and they start like, okay, hey, that Martha girl, be careful, don't let her, because people probably have certain perceptions about. There are people that I do not collaborate with them, not because I don't want to, but because the energy I began with them is not the energy they are continuing, just because of certain things they've heard about me. So I pull back. I know my strength. And sometimes you collaborate with people, you know that this is not their strength. You want to, but because, like you said, everyone wants to be in the limelight. You are not able to do A. Martha can do A. But because, for example, let's assume we are collaborating and I'm not a good public speaker. You are a good public speaker. You have to go to the media and talk about the project. And because you are everywhere talking about the project, everybody feels like you are the lead project. And, you know, I'm okay. Then Kenny comes and says that, hey, why is that everywhere Fusena is the one going? Can't you also go and talk some Fusena? I've had such situations. There are things I can't do, like sit on a computer, type for 3 hours. I can't do. I will take intermittently like breaks. But I know people that can sit on a document and do a whole lot of things. So people usually do not. First of all, I feel that sometimes we ourselves are development workers. We haven't understood our potential. we've understood one aspect of our potential, which is what working to implement and build policies. But we haven't understood that there are some things I can't do.
Yeah.
No matter how I try, there are some things I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So women should understand that, you see, in as much as we want to collaborate, sometimes understand you don't know everything.
Yeah.
So if Kenny comes in to support. And secondly, I feel that women are not able to submit to women authority. Yes.
Okay.
It's some women can't submit to women authority. Your male boss can do something to you, and that can be normal. Your female boss does that, and that is a problem. So if we actually want to focus on this women agenda,
Yeah.
maybe if they put me under a 50, 60-year-old woman as a woman, that would be better. But if they put me under
Within a short age,
yes,
gap or bracket.
under a woman I'm the same age with, or probably I'm older than, I will never respect her because I feel that I'm older than her. And who is she to order me around?
Yeah.
Who is she to? So you see, those things happen. Those things are there.
I think it's true, and I think one thing that can beat that is trying to create the boundaries when it comes to the relationships that we build with the people that like we work with and all that.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, you're already aware that there's that issue of disrespect because we fall within the same age bracket. So what do I do as a leader to distinguish myself from that person, to create that boundary?
No, do not come and say you are too no.
Exactly, but take it. Take it. Because I would rather take the too known. I would rather take you saying or thinking I'm too known than us having a relationship that would even jeopardize the work we are supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
Do you get it? So I think we just have to learn to do that. There are some times that you meet women leaders and they act difficult. It's not because they want to be difficult. No. But they think that is the solution.
That is the solution. Because sometimes when you break boundaries to relate with them as friends or relate to them because you were, they will end up disrespecting
you. Of course.
For me now, I'm creating boundaries. I've created boundaries. Like I may see you and smile at you.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for me because for me that's not my temperament.
Unfortunately, you just have to manage it.
So sometimes I'll be like, I'm not going to smile at anyone today. I come and I see myself. It's something I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you feel that people should be smart enough to know boundaries, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
Our final words, everything on women empowerment, everything on how we can support our vice president and women in general. Let me start with Ken, now come to you.
Okay, so just my final words. It's been a long time coming. We're finally gotten to this stage. Let us focus on the important things. We have so much work to do and we have so much little time. I think it was just a few days ago when I saw a post of, was it Iraq or which country? They've legalized, they've reduced the age of marriage from 18 to 9.
Not even 15. Like, I saw it, I was like, not even 15.
9. Women, we are sleeping. I still feel a lot of us are in bed. We need to get up and get the work done. Because if we keep going back, everything we keep doing, it seems like nobody is seeing it. But I know we are trying our best. But we already know the boundaries that we already have. We know the stumbling blocks we have. Yeah. We need to pick our trousers, pick our skirts, and start jumping those hurdles. Because I feel the more we do it, the more we inspire the young ones. And don't gatekeep. We are begging. If you know somebody has the opportunity to thrive in that opportunity, give it to them. It's not going to minus you. It's not going to reduce your oxygen.
This is a topic on this, so recommendation.
Yes.
Recommend
Do not be afraid to recommend that person because you know that person.
Let me add this. When you are recommending, don't disappoint the person. Me, that's the part I'm looking at recommending. It's good to recommend. Yeah. But when you are recommending.
Exactly.
Yes, so
people are afraid to also recommend us.
Yes, because of that fear. But if you know the person can do the job and do the job well, back it up and be that person who can do it. Because the more we say we are afraid, it's that fear that will keep us caged. And we all know what fear can do. Fear will grow, it will grow, it will fester. And because of that, you won't be able to move forward. So I think going forward, the women empowerment, I think the men are still struggling to understand what it is. So it's, I think, one of our key main jobs this year is to make sure that when we are citing examples, do you know who your vice president is? I like it.
I like that.
Yes, because that is the highest form of women empowerment you can ever get. So women And women, please, let's remember to empower, and men, let's remember to support. Thank you.
All right, Sina.
All right, so I would just be brief. I think what I would like to say is, as we continue to ask for the opportunities, let's work on building ourselves so that we would fit those opportunities. We would be prepared to embrace those opportunities as they come. Today, when we talk about our vice president, there are so many achievements, we can't even list all of them. In fact, we may even have to refer to some platforms to get more data,
Yeah.
you know, because she's done a lot. You can't ask her what does she bring to the table, because she's
She's
like
the
the
literal
table, you know.
She's a table and the icing on the table.
Of course. So that is just it. Like, as we say that women empowerment, give us the opportunities, give more women jobs, give more women. There's like, I mean, a few days ago, I was having a conversation with a colleague. They had put out an application, you know, a vacant position in the company to employ, and just a few women applied. Just
Even
a
when
few
you say
women
females
applied.
are
And
encouraged to
even,
apply.
and even
though.
after they had been shortlisted, it's just about 2 women. No, in fact, just 1 woman finally made time to take part in the interview. And those are some of the things we're looking at. You're asking for the opportunities, but you're not there to embrace it.
Yeah.
You know, today when you visit that company and you see that the majority of the workers are males, you say that, oh, you are biased, you didn't give us the opportunity, you just took only the men. Why do you have only men working in your company? But then they gave us the opportunity, and maybe because we are not really prepared, we couldn't embrace it. So as we continue asking for, you know, empowerment opportunities, let's build ourselves to be ready for those opportunities, so that they would just see that we are at the table, because already we know we are at the table.
Yes, we are at the table. And I think that, you know, finally, I just want to say that we saying all these things doesn't mean we are in competition with you, men.
Of course.
We are just saying that for many years ago, when I have 6 A's or 9 A's in school and you have the same thing, they tell you that because you are the man, you should feather and I will stay. And we are saying that we don't have to stay just because I'm a woman and I have a breast. If there are no financial, you know, resources to accommodate the 2 of us, let's all start something. But the reason, if I do not qualify, that is a different thing. But if we all qualify on the same level, the reason for not pursuing further shouldn't be because I am a woman.
Yeah.
No, the reason shouldn't be because I am a woman. So we just want to let you all know that we are not fighting you. We are not saying that we will not, you know, support you if a man is qualified and is appointed to certain positions. But we are saying that if we are equally qualified, do not say because we are women, we do not deserve it.
Yeah.
And I know one day we would have a woman being the president of this country. It's
yes,
not
we'll
so
get
far.
Definitely.
It's not so far
Yeah.
from now. And if you are watching us and you are a woman, this 2025, make sure you recommend as many women as possible for opportunities.
Yeah.
And if you are recommended, do not go and do something that would, you know, destroy the person who recommended you's reputation to the person who is accepting you into the organization or accepting you into the opportunity. I have had people that I have recommended and they, you know, there are people that I can't even look at their face because those are recommended didn't do what they had to do. And so sometimes I understand why people are scared to even recommend me because they may not know what I also go and do, because there are people I recommended and I really trusted them and they kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
But today, let's title it a year of recommendations.
Yeah, more recommendations.
Let's recommend more women. Let's encourage more women to occupy certain positions, because imagine your child or your daughter knows that my mom, you know, sometimes I wonder how the vice president's children feels. My mother is the vice president of Ghana.
It has different weights.
Let's see how, you know, in future our children can say about us.
Yeah.
My mom is what? My mom is what? My mom is what? We can be the examples right from their homes. Our children shouldn't be looking at TV and saying that, oh, I mean, watching TV and be saying, this woman that I don't even know is my role model. Your daughter should be able to point to a role model in her house, in her home. I've been speaking with First Aid Global. tell us a bit about what you do, just briefly. And,
Okay, so I think I did touch
yes,
on that
yes,
at the
just
beginning, but FUSAID is basically about women's development advocacies, gender-based violence eradication, entrepreneurship, health. We cut across every
everything women
aspect,
empowerment.
anything that will contribute.
Are you on
towards-
Facebook?
Oh yes,
Yes.
FUSAID.
Okay.
FUSAID on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. In fact, all
Everywhere.
the social media platforms.
Yeah.
And personally, FUSAID Aziz
Okay.
on all platforms as well.
And Kenny is the volunteer for everybody, the PRO for everybody. So we just want to encourage every woman out there to support the agenda, to volunteer, support the agenda, to support, because at the end of the day, we just have ourselves.
Yeah.
It's been great bringing you this episode on The Reflection Show. I am Martha Winfrey. To have a good night.